Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show, CJ Socials Touchline Talks, with your boy Charles and myself, Josh. We got lots of talking points today with the Manchester Derby, as well as results across the league, a lot of drop points. So, yeah, let's just get things started. So, Charles, how have you been?
I've
How's
been good.
your week been?
Been good. Busy. Christmas time.
Yeah,
How have you been?
I really like that sweater, man. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear
Can
you
you hear me?
now.
Okay, I
I don't know what
think
just
you
happened.
kind of disconnected for a second. I was just saying I really like
Yeah.
that sweater that you have on.
Thanks, man.
Yeah,
Appreciate it. Everyone likes it.
that's pretty cool, man. Yeah, I just had to rock the United shirt today because since our main talking point was the Manchester Derby. So, yeah,
Mm.
man, let's just get started. Obviously, there's been a lot of uh, people, like just in general, people were not too happy with the performance of the Manchester Derby. People have said that it's the worst performance they've seen in a long time. So just tell us, man, what was your take on that? How did you feel the match went?
I mean, I think it's a bit dramatic in terms of the worst performance, considering we lost 6-1 this season. Um, I will say that it was kind of obvious that, like, at least it seemed this way to me, that both teams were more just trying not to lose. So, I mean, I don't know if with Man United it was more of like, kind of licking their wound from midweek or not and being like, we overly cautious.
Yeah,
But I don't know what excuse Man City had other than maybe just a bad performance. I just felt like both teams were trying not to lose. It was very cagey, you know. Yeah, it was not the Manchester derby that I was expecting given what we've seen in previous games between the two.
yeah. Especially with the build up, right?
Exactly.
I think everyone was expecting Man City to come through and, destroy United. At
Yeah.
least three goals, at least with three goals scored. Especially because I think Man City's um, they've scored, I think, 11 goals in their last three games. So
Yeah.
that's quite
Aguero was
a,
supposed to be back as well. Like it had all the makings of like something that could have been a huge deal. And especially given the other results this
yeah,
weekend with a lot of teams dropping points, I think it could have been had one team actually taken the ball by the horns, I think it could have been a an important 3 points for whoever took it. But
yeah.
I also think that like low key, I think Ole lives up here rent free in Pep's head. I think so, man. And that's kind of what I mean by like both teams are trying not to lose. Like I feel like maybe given his previous record against Solskjaer, maybe Pep was like, okay, I don't want to lose this guy again.
Yeah. Do you feel like do you feel like maybe Pep has kind of lost it just in general? Like that's unlike Pep. I was really surprised. I think it was the 30th minute
Mm.
into the game, and Pep was just sitting down, quiet. Like you never see him sit down the touchline. And the few times that I've seen him sit down the touchline is if they've just basically lost the game. They have no
Mm.
chance of getting back into the game. So, do you feel he's kind of lost it now with the whole not being able to get the Champions League trophy? Do you feel that that's kind of he's overthinking everything now?
Um, I don't know. I mean, I've I think previously I've always kind of said that like Pep's a bit overrated. I don't think he
Wow.
will. I think I haven't in so many words said it, but I think like my previous comments have kind of like alluded to that.
Yeah.
So let me just clarify that. Um, but to say he's lost a step, I don't. No, no, not yet. Like at the end of the day, he's still Pep. So maybe the Champions League thing I think is an issue for him, but not in the sense that it would stop him, um, you know, setting his team up to win, and that's partly why like the game surprised me so much because it was so
Defensive, I found.
defensive, yeah, and like you obviously don't typically see that from Guardiola side. But to say that he's lost a step, no. I mean, you'd have to. I would say if he somehow finishes outside of a Champions League spot this season, maybe. But for now. I don't think I would say that.
That he's
I
lost.
don't even think I would. Yeah, I don't even think even given the fact that like like because like, in the past I've said like he should be fired because like he hasn't delivered what they wanted. I think maybe that's a bit extreme because he still brought them a lot of trophies to the club, but yeah, no, I don't think so. No,
Yeah,
I think it would be too early to say.
Yeah, the Champions League is the holy grail,
It
right?
is, yeah.
For City right now, just like how the league was the holy grail for Liverpool, right? That was what they just wanted to win. I don't know, man. I think for me, it was a lot of people were disappointed. A lot of the fan cams, everybody was just saying, "Oh, this was shite. This was the worst Manchester derby they've ever seen." But for me, I was positive, man. I would say I was positive. There was a lot of positives to take away from a Manchester United standpoint. I would say for City fans, yeah, I think City fans should be more disappointed than United fans. And it's funny that a lot of the United fans were disappointed. To me, when you watch that game, I think City was the one holding back. They were the ones not really looking you know, to draw the first blood, if to kind of say that. I think Manchester United just knew we don't have the system to play a team like Manchester City. So I really liked how for the first time we didn't look vulnerable defensively. I don't think like there was not a moment where, well, maybe there was one or two moments, the Kevin De Bruyne's attempt on goal. There was another one with, I think it was Mahrez that had another shot that De Gea saved. So apart from those two plays, I couldn't really like say, oh my goodness, I thought we were gonna be, we're gonna be behind or we're gonna concede, which that has been the story of our season. We've been conceding in the first 10 minutes of games, and we've made it so hard for ourselves before we even get out the gate. So I think to me, that's the positive, was a defensive unit that we did have. For the first time, we actually looked like a bunch of players, a team that did have a system. There was not necessarily a system, but it seemed like Ole had a game plan, and this players actually stuck to the game plan, because a lot of times with Manchester United, when you watch, it's basically just people, just a lot of players, good quality players just running around. This is the first time that they had, they knew where they were going to pass. Obviously, I think our forwards, like Rashford, really frustrated me in that game. But at the same time, he didn't really get that many chances, so I can't be too hard on him. But overall, I think he made the right runs. Mason also made the right runs. I think Mason, that's where coaching is going to be very crucial for Mason as well, because I'm finding him and Rashford, they just don't know when to pass. They always keep going for the goal, and the direct play, there's so much time. There was a lot of times whereby you see Rashford gets the ball from the halfway line and tries to start running down the flank. And I'm like, where are you running to?
Yeah.
Like, where are you, apart from Bruno? Bruno is not that fast. So where are you running to? And he just runs into, like a sea of blue players, loses the ball or something. He doesn't even at least get us a throw in, and it's that whole, I think that's where he needs that coaching to say, sometimes when you get the ball, it's not always about just to run at the defenders, is hold the ball, like in Martial, for example, hold the ball, wait for the team to come up. And then sometimes just making that simple pass backwards is not the hardest thing, is not a bad thing. I know people hate to see backward passing and sideways passing, but sometimes you need that to get your team involved. And I think that's what really frustrated me. And then you had Mason Greenwood, who, when he's in the box, all he's just thinking is shoot, which for me, I don't mind. Mason Greenwood is the one player on that team that take as many shots as you want, because I know it's either going for a corner or it's going in the, it's going in the. But at the same time, when you have players, there was this one where Pogba was yelling at the touchline, the 18-yard box, like the edge of the box, like, pass, pass. And he was trying to go through two players and took a shot that deflected off the player. But it's like those little things that affects the game. It's like maybe if he just passed it, Pogba could have taken a shot, or maybe passed it to Bruno, who was like slightly next to him. There's so many other options that could have come out from that one pass, right? And that's the part that frustrates me. But overall, I would say that we played solid as a unit. I think I really liked the Bruno and Pogba. They had that partnership going as well too. Like, you could tell that they were trying to make sure that they got each other in the game. And there's a couple of long balls that Pogba did to Bruno. So I think overall, I'm not disappointed. I think that was a step forward. It wasn't the win that we were expecting, especially after that disappointing result on Tuesday, which I was still fuming about. But yeah, I think overall, I think it was positives to take out from that game.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think it's a bit harsh to say, like, the worst performance ever, or like a bad performance or whatever. Because I think at the end of the day, they did what they came there to do, which was, stifle their attack. Like, I think they on purpose played defensively. I also think maybe there was a bit of like trepidation in terms of like, oh, we have a shitty home record this season. And I think I said it. I think I said it last week. I don't know if it was before or after we were recording or whatever. But like this whole like going behind thing that and then having to come back. That only lasts for so long, right? You can only do that for so long before your luck runs out. And against a team like Manchester City as well, they'll punish you. If you go behind one goal, it's unlikely that you're coming back and scoring three. So without reply. So I mean, I think they did what they meant to do with that performance. Like I think it was very thought out. It's just, on the other hand, if that is the case, why are we not playing to win? That's my question. Like in every single game, especially when we're at home, fans or not, I think you should be playing to win. I think that's just a given.
Yeah. And what was your take on the whole? I was still surprised. I wasn't surprised to see the McTominay and Fred partnership. That was something that I was not surprised to see, but it was kind of like, what was your take on him not bringing Van de Beek on? Like, not even for 10 minutes. And that kind of goes to your point of we saw an opportunity, at least as fans, we could see an opportunity to actually win this game, because City, like you said, I think Ole is living in Pep's head, and the fact that Pep he's I think from last season, he still has nightmares about counterattack. So I think because of that, he did not want to commit his man forward.
Yeah.
So when you see that happen, and we know that City are not the greatest defensively as well, that has been another struggle of theirs, is their defense. So as a fan, you're thinking, okay, we have the quality to score goals, and we were attacking. We had a few chances, a few decent chances to take the game. So that's where you're thinking, you know what? I looked at that game. McTominay did not really do anything. I think Fred was doing most of the job. I didn't really see. Not saying that McTominay did not do anything. He had the one shot and a nice pass to I think it was Greenwood or Bruno. He had that one nice lob to, which was great. But Van de Beek could have done that as well,
Mhm.
even better. And that's where. So, what's your take on that? Like, what's going on with the whole situation that you don't even bring Beek on in the Manchester Derby when we could actually win the game?
Yeah. I mean, again, I think it kind of goes back to the way they were set up was more to do with not losing than opposed to actually winning the game.
Mm.
So Van der Beek, obviously, he has his role that he plays, but I think he's more an attack-minded player. And at the end of the day, while we can, sit down here and say, Solskjaer is living rent-free in Pep's head or whatever, at the end of the day, it's still Pep, still a very dangerous Manchester City side. And so you do always have to be careful of that. My one thing with McTominay is that I don't yet know what type of midfielder he is. Like if he's gonna be that like Roy Keane type midfielder, or if people want him to be, like an Iniesta, Xavi Hernandez type midfielder. I'm not talking about quality because I think that's night and day. I still rate McTominay, but that's obviously those levels are, you know, they're up there. But
I rate
yeah,
McTominay. I rate McTominay, but I
yeah,
think he's a squad player. He's not a starter, especially in the Manchester Derby. Like, come on, man.
and he's still very young as well. Like, I think I just don't know what type of midfielder he is yet. Whether he's creative or disruptive, I guess is the best word to use.
Is
So
this Van de Beek or McTominay?
McTominay.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So that's kind of where I'm just like, yeah, like what was he doing? What was his role in the derby? Is it just to break up the play, or like you
Yeah.
know?
That's really what it was, right? And that's really, that's what kind of Ole has found as his security blanket is the pivot of Fred and McTominay, because that's what he's seen to create a bit of stability. Because when you put Pogba and Matic sitting as the holding midfielders, we've seen what happens. It's just a disaster.
Mm,
It's a it's a massive hole in our defense, especially when we don't really have the greatest trust in a player like Maguire, and then you have
yeah.
Lindelof and Maguire together, who I also feel are not the best pairing of defenders of center
Mm,
back. So to me, I think Ole is just trying to look for a way to keep the back balanced, but still giving the freedom of like Bruno, Rashford, Greenwood to still go out, licensed to go out there and still do their thing.
yeah.
It just still baffles me is, and this we can talk about this again, is in the summer, this is where rather than going out and buying a Van der Beek, all we just needed was a CDM. Obviously, we also needed a number 9, but I think we got a number 9 in Cavani,
Mm,
and we need a center back that's not injury prone, because I know people also talked about why in the world was Twanzebe not playing that game, or Eric Bailly. You see Eric Bailly in training, but it's we have too many injury prone players like defenders. So I think this is where we need that CDM, we need that CB, and maybe then that way we're not wasting players on the bench,
mm,
by playing the two. I think I personally feel that Fred can do the job alone. He doesn't need a McTominay there.
yeah.
But I think Ole is just trying to. I think Ole is one of those coaches whereby as long as you work hard in the training ground, I'm going to play you. It doesn't matter if you don't fit into the system or you don't have the quality. He's still just going to play you because to him, he's like, you're breaking sweat,
Mm.
you know? So that kind of, and that's where really it's concerning, right? Is so where do you see the future of Beek at this point, Van de Beek? Because I don't think he's happy. I know what's his name came out today and said Van Gaal, Louis Van Gaal.
You there?
Can you hear me?
Sorry, I missed that. Yeah, I can now.
Like,
What did you say?
okay, I was just saying, like, what's your take on the whole, like, so what do you think is going to happen to Van de Beek's future at United? Because Louis Van Gaal came out today and said he's just like it was the worst. It was basically just saying that it was the worst decision that Beek made to come to United, and he's actually surprised that Beek made that decision to come to United.
Well, I mean, honestly, yeah, it seems like it right now. It's hard to disagree. I do still think it's again quite early in his, Man United to say so. I think there's going to be a lot of movement in the summer. 'Cause I know recently, even though they say this every year, um, I guess recently Ed Woodward came out and said, "Yeah, we're going to back Solskjaer in the summer." Yeah. So I mean, I think there could be there's still a lot of deadwood and like a lot of players that we need to get rid of before we actually have like a title worthy squad. I think if he's patient, he will do good things there. But at the same time, it's not that type of it's not that type of profession where you can just afford to be patient, especially in today's game as well, where it's so fast paced and your market value is based on all these statistics and everything. You have to be playing week in, week out. If he's not, it would be a shame to lose him because I think he's still young as well, like 23 or 24 if I'm not mistaken. So it'd be a shame to lose him, but I would say give it till the end of next season. If things stay the way they are, then he leaves.
Yeah. Hopefully, yeah, I think that's what's going to be because usually, like, it's when you're in a contract like this, 1 year, might have some legal issues, legal issues in terms of breaking that contract. But usually after 1 year, that's when you're usually freer to, and it's a lot cheaper to negotiate a deal with other clubs as well.
Yeah.
So obviously in your first year at a club, nobody's really coming to offer you anything because that's when your price tag is the most expensive. But so just before we wrap up on the Manchester Derby, the question is up there. Who do you think, with the 1 point each, who do you think is better off with the point?
Neither of them, if I'm honest. I think they both need it. Man United are chasing a Champions League spot. Pep is chasing, I would assume, a title. So I don't think any of them are better off. And it's like when you drop points, then you are now not only having to make those points up, you're hoping the teams those points. And when you're at that end of the table, it's very, very difficult. It's not difficult. It's a big ask. Like expect teams to drop points and so that you can like climb the table. It's not impossible, obviously, but I don't think there's any one of those teams that are better off of a point. I think given some of the results this weekend, you can kind of maybe gloss it over and say, okay, well, like a lot of other teams drew, like Tottenham drew. Who else? Who else even played this weekend? Chelsea lost.
Liverpool as well drew.
Oh, exactly. So like, there is they kind of got away with it in a sense, but I would still say neither of them are better off with a point. I think that was a game that they both needed to win, if not just for the points, just to set down a marker and be like, have that confidence of being a big team.
Yeah.
So I think that's my answer. That neither of them were better off with a point. I think they both needed it.
Yeah, you know what? I would lean towards Pep.
Yeah.
Off of the point, and the reason I say this is because obviously, City has a better team, quality-wise. They do have a system in place whereby they trust the system, and I think I felt like Pep did this for damage control. because if United had beaten City, that would have been a disaster for PR. Like that would have just been a PR disaster for City, because that would have just been, you've lost to United, really? A United that lost to a Turkish team in Europe, So I think I know why I say that too with Pep is because when you look at their list of games, they have it easy in December and
Yeah.
going on to January. So those, when you look at the teams that they have to play, on a good day, on a normal day, not even on a good day, on a normal day, they should be beating those teams 2-3 nothing, right? So I think
Mhm.
that's where Pep is looking at it.
But then,
Versus Manchester United,
sorry, go
we
ahead.
have a tough versus Manchester United, we have a tough lineup coming up. We've got Sheffield, which is I'm not too worried about on Thursday. Then we have the Everton game. Sorry, not Everton,
Are
Leeds
you
game.
frozen?
Yeah, we have. I'm frozen again. Can you hear me? Oh boy, can you hear me now?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, you can hear me. Okay. Yeah, sorry. I was just saying that basically with Manchester United, we have a harder fixture
Mm.
than City because we have Sheffield United, which I'm not too worried about, and then we have Leeds on the weekend, and then we have, I think, Liverpool's coming up soon. So that's a scary. That's a bit scary, and with how fast these games are coming, and we're a team with no system in place. It's up and down. Ole in, Ole out.
Mhm.
So to me, I think
Yeah. I
I
mean,
think
but then
Pep was
if
better
if
off with
we
the
have a
point.
fix,
Sorry? Oh, you
no, you.
froze there for a second.
Yeah, sorry. This keeps messing with us. Go ahead, finish what you were saying.
No, I was done. I
Oh,
was
okay.
done.
Well, yeah, I was just gonna say that, like, if we have a harder run of games, then like I guess for me that would tip the scales in like Solskjaer's favor. Like, I guess he was better off, because at the same time, I guess he could have lost. I don't really, go into any game right now thinking Man United are favorites. Like, we're for sure gonna win that game. So,
Yeah.
and that's a sad, sad thing. But I think in that context, Man United were better off with the point. But we're still above Manchester City in the table, right? I mean, it is only
I think just a point or two. Actually, let me look
the
here. So they have, yeah, just by 1 point. And we both
yeah.
have a game in hand.
What are they, like, eighth and ninth, or ninth and tenth?
Yeah. So United is eighth, City is ninth. So
Yeah.
United 20 points, and we both have a game in hand. And when you look at City's next games, so they have West Brom
Mhm.
on Tuesday. They have Southampton on the Saturday, and have Arsenal in the EFL Cup quarterfinal, and then they have Newcastle before they face Everton, which would be like their biggest test.
I would argue that
That's
Manchester
9
City
points.
have tougher games, though.
Sorry.
I would argue that Manchester City have tougher games.
Actually, the only game I would say here that is tough is the Southampton because Southampton they sit third on the table right now, actually fourth. And,
Southampton, and then Arsenal in the EFL Cup. Like, I know it's I know it's Arsenal, but at the same time,
yo,
it's
look at who we
Arsenal.
have, man. Look at who we have right now. So we have Sheffield United,
Yeah, that
Leeds, Everton, well, which is in the EFL Cup. Then we
okay.
have Leicester City in the league. Then we
Mhm.
have Wolves in the league, man, and then Aston Villa. Aston Villa, they're actually pretty good this year.
Mm.
I don't know, man. We're playing against
Tough to
the
say.
the best coaches right now,
Yeah,
the better coaches, I should say.
I mean, you've seen what we've all seen with Liverpool, and yeah, I'll say with Liverpool last season, I don't think they won the league because they were so amazing. Because all their players are so amazing and world class. It's not like a Cristiano Ronaldo, Real Madrid um, masterclass in the Champions League. I think they only won it because they are so well coached.
Yeah,
So, that's, I mean, I would say a well coached team can beat a team of superstars any day of the week.
Yeah,
Yeah. So that's my fear for like playing good coaches, good or well coached teams.
yeah, that
For
makes
like
sense.
our upcoming fixture list, I guess.
And that's really what it is, right? And that's always been, people talk about like the Liverpool's. When you really look at the Liverpool team, you can only pick a handful of world class players, but they have world class performances on a daily basis, right? Not
Yeah.
every game, but for the most part, they do have world class performances. I was watching this segment where some Liverpool fan was going bunkers about how um, Jordan Henderson is better than Pogba and stuff like that, and it's like, bruv. But you see what people get, how people get deluded because people don't really understand how a good system can make an average player good, but
Mm-hmm.
an awful system can make a great player good or just average.
Yeah.
And that's really what it is, right? You look at how efficient Everton is. Leeds, they've kind of fallen off, but they have a game plan and they're sticking to that game plan.
Mm-hmm.
Moving to my fantasy league, I have Bamford, who is still giving me points. Carl Lewis, Calvin Lewis as well from Everton. So to me, those are players that they have the quality, but they're also their coaches like Ancelotti and I can never forget his name. Bielsa, what's his name? The guy from Leeds.
Marcelo Bielsa, yeah.
Bielsa, yeah. They're getting the best out of these players, and that goes to that $1 million question: is Ole getting the best out of the players at Manchester United? And
Yeah.
that's the $1 million question, exactly, right? So, but to me, I think Ole saved his job with the point. So I think overall, both managers left. I think both managers will sleep well at night. They definitely slept well last night, knowing that they did not. No one got embarrassed. Ole keeps his job till next weekend, and then Pep can still salvage 9 points from the next three fixtures.
Mm.
So yeah. So moving on to the next big game of the weekend, that was the Chelsea Everton game. So obviously we know that also that's another game too. There wasn't really much to write home about. It was another game where uh, Chelsea lost to Everton 1-0, and that raises the question of, is Lampard the right man for Chelsea? Because Chelsea has spent a lot of money. I know. They're still sitting fourth in the league. Their point tallies is not too bad. But do you feel, because people are saying that Chelsea, they haven't really won or gotten points against the top six. Do you feel that Lampard is on the right track with this Chelsea team, or do you feel that somebody else could do a better job?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, in terms of who's available, I definitely think there's people out there that can do a better job. But I I think maybe it was too early for Lampard to take the Chelsea job when he did.
Yeah,
Um, and I personally think he will succeed there given enough time. I just don't know if he'll get it. You know,
yeah,
um, and that's different. That's different than me saying like with Solskjaer. You know, I literally don't see us finishing any higher than like third with Solskjaer. With Lampard, I could see them winning a Premier League or something.
yeah,
I could see them winning silverware. I don't know if he's at the right. I don't know if he took the Chelsea job too early or if he's got the right people behind him. I don't know what it is, but like I think that for now at least there's something maybe
yeah.
to suggest that he's not the right man right now. And
But
sorry, go on.
No, sorry. But when you watch Chelsea play, do you actually see a style of play? Like, do you see a pattern? Do you see what they're trying to do?
Good question.
The system.
In certain games, when Chelsea play in the games where you've seen Chelsea like really run away with the game, it's clear that they have potential. And that was the thing last season with Lampard, like with Lampard's Chelsea, is that like he didn't have the money to go and make all these signings that he made this season, right?
Yeah,
Oh, sorry, it was I think a transfer ban. Um, so he had to really, really rely on like a lot of young players and like his own like managerial like know-how and rely on spectacular players to do spectacular things, right?
yeah,
Have them. Um, I think when it's there, like when they play well, you obviously see it, but they're just not consistent enough right now.
yeah,
So I, yeah, I would say that that's probably that he does have a style of play, but they're just not consistent.
yeah.
You
And
know,
you know
and
what? I do agree with you on that in the sense of um, Lampard thinks he's a smart guy, even as a player. And when you watch him in press conferences, um, and who did he coach before Chelsea?
Derby,
Um, Derby. Yeah, he did
yeah,
coach Derby. Um, so yeah, you kind of look at and what he's done. He actually does have a decent track record, not much.
yeah,
And when you look at what he's done last season with what he had, because Chelsea had the transfer ban,
mhm,
so they couldn't really get players. And what he did with the academy, I think, like you said, I think it's really about giving him time. And I think the Chelsea fans will agree with me on this is the players that he bought that came through. Yes, they're talented players, but they're all still very young,
mhm,
and you have a lot of developing to do. So I think you're going to find that inconsistency play a role. You're going to see that happen a lot of times. But I would say I could see Chelsea winning the league in the next year or two.
mhm,
And I say that because we've already seen a decline in Man City. We're slowly beginning to see. I think Liverpool has one more trophy with this team. Can they win it this year? I still feel they're favorites to win it this year because
mhm,
especially how tight the league is. If they can, obviously they just lost Diego Jota for I think they said it was 8 weeks with a knee injury. So he's been like he's definitely been their main guy, the
mhm,
talisman this season. So, but I think obviously the front three of Mane, Firmino, and Salah could still get the job done. So I think Liverpool could still win it this year, but I think this is like their last season before they start seeing that decline as well. Because
mhm.
there's only so long you can do the same thing and be at that high intensity. It's
Yeah,
just normal, and I think at that point Liverpool will have to start rebuilding again, not to the extent as Manchester United or Chelsea, but it would give that window for somebody else to win it for that one season, and maybe they might come back again like Manchester did back in the day, right? So
yeah.
I feel like we can give I feel more confident giving Frank Lampard time than I do with giving Ole time.
He's had time. He's
Sorry.
had time. Always had time. That's the thing. I don't. I'm not even necessarily. I wouldn't say I'm necessarily part of the Ole out brigade, but like I
Yeah.
just don't see us wearing him. Um, I guess the two kind of go hand in hand. Um, yeah, I just don't see us winning silverware under him. That's my problem with him. Like, I think there's better people out there. Like, I've said time and time again that I think Pochettino would do a better job. I, but yeah, like with Chelsea, who realistically, I guess it would be the same thing. There's Pochettino, there's Allegri, there's a couple of coaches out there, but Lampard has also been there for such a long time that he knows the club through and through. And as much as we like to say, like, legends shouldn't be given these jobs so quickly, which I still agree with, we also can't rule that out. Like every club is still different. So when you have someone that knows the club, knows the culture of the club, the people in the club, um, that is almost invaluable.
Yeah,
And I think I think back to what you were saying about like Liverpool only having a few more years left with this team, with trophies. I think what tends to happen with a lot of these coaches nowadays or managers is, you know, they get figured out after a while. So I think with Pep, it was so difficult when he was at Barcelona because of the caliber of players that he had, right?
yeah.
And when he finally did get figured out, when it was found out by Mourinho, or
At
was it?
Real Madrid. Yeah.
Yeah, was it Mourinho? Or
Yeah, Marino at Real Madrid.
yeah,
Yeah.
when he finally did get figured out, he retired for a year and went to Bayern Munich. No one's really going to challenge him there. Again, I think it was Real Madrid in the Champions League, and then maybe I forget who else in the time that he was there, but like that figured him out. And I think the same thing happened it's happening now that he's in England. Um, he was on top for 2, 3 years, and now people have found him out, and they know
Yeah.
how to play against him. Pack of shit.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that happens with all managers, though. But that's why this is one of the reasons why I will forever say that Alex Ferguson is the best manager, because to do that and stay on top for 26 years is unheard of,
Yeah.
So
And
yeah,
it
I think
proves
managers
that,
after a while they just get found out.
yeah. And the only, and how like Ferguson was getting beat
Mm,
was when Chelsea got taken over by the Russian
okay.
billionaire, right? And then you had, then Man City got bought by the oil money, right? So
Mhm.
like, so it's basically, it wasn't just that somebody just figured out Alex Ferguson. It was just, we just said, you know what,
They
we
figured
have a
out
lot of
Alex
money.
Ferguson.
Yeah, we just won the lottery, so now
Yeah,
we can afford,
and
we can afford the entire United team.
he still saw all of those managers off. He still saw all of them off and still won countless times against them. So it's like, for me, there'll never be anyone better. Even if Mourinho in his times wins more trophies and stays managing for longer, there will never be anyone better than Alex Ferguson.
Yeah, on just how he did things, just on how he did things.
Yeah,
So, but yeah, I definitely do agree. I definitely do agree with you on that. I'm sure there's Chelsea fans that feel like he's not the right guy, but I think he's shown a lot. He's showing more promising signs.
yeah.
And like, coming to the next topic, Arteta with the banter FC Arsenal. We had a great conversation last weekend with the Arsenal group,
Mm.
with Joel, Norman, and Kels, when they, just talking about Arsenal and their frustration with the club. Yeah, what do you think Arsenal goes from here? Another loss to Burnley, which is that's a game they should be winning. We kind of joked about it before the show that Aubameyang officially scores from open play, even though it was an own goal. So, what do you think, man? Do you feel like Arsenal should just cut their losses with Arteta and just call it a day?
I mean, as a non-Arsenal fan, I'm going to say no. um, you you know what? Arteta's still very young in his managerial career. It's it's clear that like the Arsenal job isn't the one he should have taken
Yeah,
um, for his first big job outside of being Pep's assistant. I think they should give him to the end of the season. Arsenal are not going to get relegated.
Ooh, that's a tough ask.
I
That's a
would hope
tough,
anyway.
that's a tough hope.
I mean, I'm not an Arsenal fan, so I
It's
don't
a
really
massive hope,
like
man.
anyway. But like, it would be funny to me to watch Arsenal fan TV if they got relegated. That's about it. But I mean, no, what really got me, so I didn't actually see the Arsenal game, unfortunately, but like what really surprised me is like knowing the nature in which they lost.
Yeah,
Granit Xhaka gets sent off, Aubameyang scores an own goal. It is just so typical of Arsenal to just put in some kind of embarrassing performance like that. You know,
yeah,
it just seemed like I saw that and I was like, I just felt like that's a typical Arsenal thing to do. Like just completely capitulate after the North London derby as well. Like I don't know what their direction is as a club. I don't know um what their project is, what they're trying to do. Are they trying to get are they trying to get Champions League? Are they trying to win the league? Are they even just trying to stay up at this point? Like I actually don't know what their uh project is. But
yeah,
I don't necessarily think that's Arteta's fault. I think that type of thing starts from the very, very top. And I've said this time and time again, like whether it's with Manchester United or, on the flip side with the success of Manchester City that they've had recently. Um, and with Liverpool as well. Like I remember Klopp, the first thing he said when he came into that job was, "Give me 4 years and I'll win the title." And in 4 years, he won the title. So like
yeah.
I don't know what Arsenal's project is. I don't know where they're going,
That is true.
and that just I think is now translating more and more. It's just so typically Arsenal again. Like, and it had to be Granit Xhaka. I don't know how he's still at that club. After all the controversies and everything that he's been through, I don't know how they haven't sold him yet. Yet Ozil
Oh
seems to
my
be.
goodness.
I don't know. Like that club is a mess. So
It was so funny. I saw this thing. Someone posted in the group chat that we're all on, and it was about Patrice Evra
yeah,
talking on Sky Sports and saying that one day he went to Thierry Henry's house to watch the Arsenal game. I think it was I forgot what the game was. I think it was against Chelsea or so. And Thierry Henry saw Shaka starting. I think he was captain, and apparently Thierry just turned the TV off. I was just like, I can't do this. I can't do this. You can trust Patrice for the stories, man.
I
Patrice
mean,
Ever and his stories. I'm like, man, where are you getting these stories from? Are these like 80% true, and you just kind of added a little like spice to the story, or is this
yeah.
actually legit?
I mean, that's a beef, man. Like, please. I
Oh,
mean,
like because you got to think about those legends of the club, like Thierry Henry, Patrick Vieira. These guys are looking and saying like, "What is going on?" They have the
yeah,
same frustration that I'm sure the ex-United players do have, right? When they watch the team, it's just where is the standards? Like, what's going on? There's no leadership. There's no like you
yeah.
said, there's no direction.
I
Like
mean,
there has to be some sort of as a club, as like Arsenal, what is our goal? Is it just to keep winning the FA Cup?
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like what's the 5-year plan? You don't have to win it today, but what is your 5-year plan? And I think no Arsenal fan can tell you that. You
hmm
know, even Arteta probably can't even tell you that. The players
yeah.
don't look like they're working towards something.
Mm,
So it's a sad situation, I gotta say.
it is, and like that's another thing as well. Like I am shocked. What year did Patrick Vieira leave the club? Like as a player,
Oh geez. That had to be like
it was a
probably like
long ass time.
2010. It was like 20, no, probably like '09.
It was a long ass time ago. That's all I know,
Yeah.
and I still haven't replaced him. Like, don't get me wrong. Like trying to replace someone like Patrick Vieira would be like, you know, trying to replace, I don't know, like any club legend.
Yeah.
So
Like
integral.
even like Manchester, like
Trying to replace Roy Keane or
exactly bringing it
yeah,
home. We haven't
something like
replaced Roy Keane because who was playing that role? Paul Scholes. That's what, and that's thing that really like upsets me is when Paul Scholes talks so much trash about Pogba. I was like, Paul Scholes, like when you were playing as a DM, you were awful too, man.
Mhm.
You were getting red cards like every
Yeah.
other game. Like, so stop acting like you were amazing at that role, because that's what happened was Scholes got pushed back because we
Mhm.
had Carrick, right? Carrick came in, and I think we had Fletcher or something like that. So Scholes
Yeah.
started being a bit more defensive in his game. Yeah, he was able to move forward a bit and still do his
Yeah.
magic, but it's we've never replaced Roy Keane. Arsenal hasn't replaced Patrick Vieira. You
It's
know,
shocking to me. It is
well,
shocking.
actually,
I
Arsenal
don't
has
think.
replaced the entire team.
Huh?
Actually, Arsenal has not replaced the entire team except for Aubameyang. That's the only person I can say that his numbers are up there with Thierry Henry. You know what I'm saying? Not maybe not quite up there,
Yeah.
but he's probably
I know what you mean.
one of the most
And
successful strikers that they've had, right?
yeah,
So,
but
but
like
yeah, when you look,
even that one. How old was he when they signed him? He was getting up there. Like, and they've just given him this new massive contract, and he's what, like
31 now.
31. Like, how many more years does he have? There's just so many like terrible, from any standpoint that you look at it, whether it's from a business standpoint or a football standpoint. And maybe it's unfair of me to say this because I don't know the future. And next week Aubameyang could come out and score 9 goals. And
Yeah,
I obviously don't know what's going to happen, but it seems to me that given how players' fortunes seem to go after the age of 31, like in and around that time, you're on a downhill trend. So like I don't know why you would give him such a massive contract. Do you need him that badly? Like why can't they dip into their academy and find players that actually want to play for the fucking club? That's I don't understand, like you said, like we said earlier, like their project, their thinking behind some of the decisions they make or some of the players that they sign and keep and whatever. I just don't understand where they're going at the club. And I think before they, I won't say keep Arteta, but I will say before they switch Arteta, they need to switch the upper manager. They need to switch the higher ups above him, which obviously isn't going to happen anytime soon. But
yeah,
you know, that's
yeah.
my opinion. It always starts from the top. From the
That
very
is true. I think Arteta has the right idea too, in terms of what he's trying to do.
mm,
It's I don't know, I just don't feel he has the personnel to do it.
yeah.
What's it called? We were talking about that in the group chat about how, why did they spend, was it 50 M's on Willian when Eze from Crystal Palace was there? I think Eze is a pretty good player, man.
Mm.
This kid is
How much did they spend
amazing.
on Willian?
Sorry?
How much did they spend on Willian? I thought he
I
was
think it was
free.
like 50 M's or something like that?
No, surely not.
It's
That
gotta
would
be 50,
if
man.
if they if I thought he was free, honestly. If they spent 50 million on Willian, I'm checking that.
Actually, yeah, let me check that real quick. Where we go.
Yeah, it was free, but they're paying him. Apparently, they're paying him 220 grand a week.
Whew. So, no, it says here.
I'm seeing different things.
Oh, so I'm looking at 2013. Yeah, I'm looking at 2013. You're right. You're right. So that was a free. I don't know. They're saying that they spent money on him, but maybe not. I might be. I think you're right. Still.
I thought he was free because I know his contract at Chelsea was running
Oh
out.
yeah, I think it's the weekly salary of £220,000 a
Yeah.
week. Yeah, that's what people are really upset with, because you could have paid half of that to
Mm-hmm.
Eze from Crystal Palace, and
Mm,
he'll probably do a better job
yeah.
than what William is doing. But that's really where I don't know what it is with Chelsea and Arsenal. They seem to have this partnership whereby it's kind of like Real Madrid and Manchester United. The difference is United, we give Real Madrid our best players. But I find like Arsenal just gives Chelsea their best players, and then Chelsea just dumps their garbage on Arsenal. And it's just like,
Everyone,
where does that? Sorry?
everyone takes Arsenal's best players, and that's the thing. They're a selling club now. If I'm being honest, I don't know if that's like a big claim or not, but they're definitely a selling club where like if you have, or I'll say they're not in a position right now to be the club that comes and demands the big players. Like for example, when Real Madrid came for Ronaldo, they basically took him. Ronaldo obviously wanted to go because they're Real Madrid, but like they basically took him. So Arsenal don't have the gravitas to be able to do that anymore.
Yeah.
And as a result, all their players are like, screw this, I'm leaving. I want to win trophies. Um, and so now they're also just becoming like a club that you go to get your last big payday.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like. There's no reason that Willian should be earning 220 grand a week at any club.
Yeah. At the stage of his career, man, that was
Exactly.
just the last big payday for him.
Even a prime Willian, it would be generous to give him that money. I can maybe understand it more if he's in his prime, but like what 175 grand a week max, and even that still,
Yeah. Actually, he's not even in his prime, man. This
no,
kid is
he's not.
32 years old. That's not your prime. That's the twilight of your
Yeah,
career. Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy.
it's nuts.
Yeah. You know what? I think Arsenal was probably thinking he's experienced, he's won stuff with Chelsea, so let's just get him and maybe he might be able to stabilize the team. But the Arsenal games that I've watched, even today, like I don't really see him doing anything. There was this one what was it? There was the one play that ends up being an offside. So I'm looking, William gets the ball on the wing and he's running. Well, sorry, he gets the ball on the wing. Rather than just crossing it, you had Lacazette and Aubameyang in the middle. Cross the ball. What does he do? He turns around and passes it back to, I forget who he passes it back to, and then that person just passes it back to him, and William is offsides. And you could see Aubameyang was furious. He's just like, "Are you kidding me? We just wasted that play just because of just like what are you doing?" I don't know. Like I watch William play nowadays. He doesn't have the same spark like he had at Chelsea. I don't know if it's just he's getting older or something, but he just doesn't seem to have the same spark and desire that he had when he played for Chelsea. Remember he used to like beat mans down the wing, like just you know. And now it's just like he can barely even dribble the ball. He just gets the ball, walks.
Well, look at the trend. I mean, Aubameyang signed this big ass contract, and all of a sudden, the only goals he's scoring are own goals.
Yeah,
Willian is on ridiculous money, and he doesn't seem to be worth it. Like worth of football. So I don't know. I think there is something to be said for these players that sign these massive contracts and aren't necessarily deserving of it.
yeah,
I would be hard pressed to find anybody in world football today. Even like the thing is, you can't even. I don't even think you can really market Willian the way you would want to for 220 grand a week. Same thing with Aubameyang, to be perfectly honest. Maybe more so, but to be honest. And can you hear me?
Oh, sorry, you're breaking up here.
Damn, it's internet connection. Yeah, sorry. I was just saying that I feel like there's very few players that can demand 220 grand a week that would be actually worth it. Even from any way you look at it, from a marketing standpoint, I don't think you can market Willian that much. Even really Aubameyang, maybe more so, but still, you have to look at the club.
Has had pretty good seasons though. He had a good season last. He was like one of the top goal scorers last season. So
Yeah, last
I can
season.
see that. I
Then he
think he
signed
looks,
this contract. He signed
but
this
they've been
contract,
playing him
and
on the wing though. He's been playing on the left side, and he's not getting the supply. He's the one creating
yeah,
the supply, like creating the play. But I feel like he could, like any player could be doing more. You
mm,
kind of look at Jimmy Vardy or like your Kane is, there was a time where he could just take that shot. And the commentator actually did say that is like, why isn't Aubameyang just going for it? It's like you're in the
yeah.
box, you're a striker, just take a shot. Why are you having to pass it back to somebody? I think he passed it back to what's the guy's name? What's that midfielder called? Uh,
Uh, Thomas
with a
Partey.
T. No, Partey is
Um,
injured. With a T.
oh, what's his name? It's on the tip of my tongue.
Oh, no, I think it was Bellerin that was it Bellerin that they like he passed it to and took a shot, but the goalie just caught it. And it's those little things is like just take the shot, man. You're Aubameyang.
Yeah,
Why do you keep passing every time? So for me, maybe he should be
strikers are
doing
supposed to
more.
be selfish too.
Maybe he should be doing more,
Mm,
but I don't want to be too hard on Aubameyang because he's another player that I think he's miles ahead of the people around him. So,
yeah, that's a
but
fair point. Um, yeah, I don't think he deserves to be at Arsenal. I think he should be at a bigger club.
yeah. So, but wow, it's already an hour. So I guess
Bigger club,
time flies, man.
maybe on
Time
a
flies.
bit less money.
Sorry, sorry. Could you repeat that?
No, I said, yeah, I said he should be he deserves to be a bigger club, but maybe on a bit less money.
Yeah, I would say that. Yeah, I think he needs to be in a team that is actually has a system they're playing as a team and can involve him.
Hmm.
Because right now they're not involving him at all. Not
Yeah.
enough supply. But yeah, man, it's already an hour. Yeah, just before we go, I know last week we already talked about who we want to see, who we expect to see at the top of the table, um, end of the Christmas, the festive period. So I used to stick. Did you say Liverpool last time?
No, I think I said Chelsea.
Okay, are you still sticking to Chelsea now, or are you swaying towards the Liverpool camp?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, not a problem, man.
Am I sticking with Chelsea? No, I'm gonna say Liverpool. God,
Yeah, you
it's
know what? I thought Liverpool was gonna take it today, but they lost points to Fulham.
if
So
if Tottenham had won today, then I would have said Tottenham will be top by Christmas.
yeah.
But I still have this just nagging voice in the back of my head, always constantly saying, "It's still Tottenham. It's still Tottenham. It's still just Tottenham."
Oh,
So
jeez.
I know that may come back to bite me in the ass if come May they're lifting the trophy. But um, I'm gonna stick with my gut and say that Tottenham will pull a Tottenham. Um,
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Liverpool.
Yeah, I don't know. Liverpool is looking like they're getting back into form, even though they dropped points today. But
Mm,
man, let's face it, Fulham got lucky, man. The penalty, you could have argued that it was a penalty. Matip, the way he uh it was such a weird tackle in the box. It was just such a weird tackle. But anyways, it was one of those calls whereby the ref was unsure, but it seemed like Matip had hit
mm,
what's his name, the strikers, Fulham strikers running leg, not the running leg, his the leg, his balancing leg or whatever. So I think that's where he fell. So it
yeah.
was one of those calls whereby you can't really be you can't be too upset about it. But man, for the entire 80 minutes, it was just Liverpool just
Mm,
threatening and threatening and threatening. And I was actually surprised that Liverpool did not get all 3 points because last season, Liverpool of last season would have definitely won that game for sure. Uh,
yeah.
so I don't know. It's probably still too early to say that Liverpool should be worried, but I feel like they can still they can still get it over the line.
Yeah.
That's what I would say. But yeah, man. But yeah, it's definitely been fun. I think we should wrap up now because it's been an hour. Definitely been a fun conversation.
Yeah.
I'm still a little upset with crashing out of the Champions League, and now we're back to Thursday nights
Oh my God.
in Romania, or I don't know, man, in some town that
No.
in some remote town somewhere. But it's all good. It's part of the love of the game. It's part of being fans.
Yeah, I don't
It's
love this part.
nice. Sorry.
I don't love this part.
I know. Oh my goodness. I was like,
Yeah, no, I
could
know.
you at least wait it to the round of 16, or that would take us to February, but you
Yeah.
have to do it at group stage. You had to do it at the group stage. Like, it just makes it for a longer season, in my opinion. I just feel like it just feels like a longer season in Europa.
Mm,
So, because you don't want to face the bigger clubs, right? Early
yeah.
enough. So that leaves you with teams that I could care less about, so
Yeah.
yeah. Did you have any last thoughts?
Um, no, I don't think so. I
Yeah.
don't think so. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, definitely been fun. Guys, for those of you that are watching, please continue to like, subscribe, and share the channel. This will definitely be a good way to help us continue to grow our channel. So, till next time, we do this every weekend. So, we'll see you next Sunday. Hopefully, we do have two positive results because we play Sheffield on Thursday, and then the games are coming fast, man. The games are
Mhm.
really coming fast. So, yeah, it's definitely going to be an exciting Christmas/New Year. So, yeah,
Yeah.
till next time. I'll see you guys.